Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your
hosts,
Mike.
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic. You know, it was bound to happen.
What was?
We have finally banned somebody from our show.
You banned someone?
I banned someone.
Wow, what the fuck do you have to do to get banned from this show?
Well,
I'm pretty much the worst and I'm still here.
this person was on the show multiple times. They thought they were pretty funny, but for the most part, their appearances were kind of
Wah wah.
crappy. And I was honest about it with them, like gave them another chance and gave them another chance and gave them another chance. And I would have probably given them another chance, just would have taken a little while longer. But the last time that this person was on our show, we had a disagreement about a political issue, about whether or not we're truly free. And so I defined freedom for him and then said, so show me how we ever fit that definition.
Right.
And he's like, well, that's ridiculous. I'm free to vote for whoever I want to.
Are
But
you?
you're only given two choices. Why wouldn't you want to be given 100
17
choices?
94.
I mean, as many as you want to
267.
run, right? Like, why wouldn't, if a bunch of people manage to run for president, go for it. That's why they have their stupid ballot access laws.
It's the primary that's the problem. Like, I think they should just let all these idiots run.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Why
Let
not?
them run and see who wins.
Why not?
I don't disagree. But, you know, back to what we're talking about, talking about freedom, just kept throwing that, oh, well, okay, then, that's crazy. You're just insane. You're crazy. And then, oh, well, hold on. I can tell you another place where we're free. I'm free to eat wherever I want. Well, really, but are you?
Are you?
Like, they give licenses to certain businesses and other people have to kind of sneak around and hide, and they're there,
like the hot dog carts.
or the people who sell tamales,
Out their car.
at Christmas time. And they're like, oh, I got tamales. They're on social media advertising tamales. That's all illegal restauranting. That's illegal. But people sneak around, and they do their thing.
Right. But they could get in trouble for it. So they're not free to do that.
Right.
You're not free to sell your family
And
recipe
you
of
were like
whatever.
super angry during that appearance.
He was being so annoying. And he kept talking over me. And then he just every time I would make a point, he would just gloss over it and keep saying the same thing over and over again. And so I just got up and turned off my microphone and I went and did other things.
There was 90 minutes of audio in that show. And we had to trim it down to 30 minutes-ish.
I think I was only actually present for 30 minutes.
Yeah. So, that's not enough to get you banned, though. What happened there was we talked to a few people. Those few people agreed with us that he probably should have not done that.
Right.
So, we agreed he'd get another chance to come back on. But
Just needed some time to cool off.
But then in the meantime, he went ahead and booked himself because he has the booking link. He's been on enough times. He went ahead and booked himself. And thankfully, because I don't like to lie to these people, thankfully, I was switching our booking system from that you can book me service to the Book Like a Boss service. And I don't care which one you guys use because I don't get anything for any of that. It's just what I like. It's good stuff. So switch to that Book Like a Boss service, and I created the links for that so that people could sign up for this show, that show, the other show. And right then he booked himself the old way. And I say, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to turn those off. Though that's the wrong link. I just moved to a new system and we don't have time. We're not interested in having you come on at that time. It's going to be a month or two. Well, then the pandemic hit. Well, here's where you can start to help. I'm sorry I've had to talk so much, and I know everyone out there is bored to death. But
no. But you're the one who has to tell the rest of the story because it was your interaction.
Yes, but you're going to help, okay? And I'm going to explain to you how you're going to help, if I can even find it.
Oh, bother.
Wow, did I delete it?
You didn't.
Oh, no, I'm in the wrong place. Anyway.
Freaking dingus.
So being me, I've been reaching out to people, just making sure people are doing okay.
Poke the bear.
And he sent me something about groups search for consensus, individuals search for truth.
Okay.
And I said, that's pretty funny. Have you given any thought to the fact that you don't have too much freedom during these lockdowns? And he goes, look, neither of you are philosophers. I'm working freely. So
congratulations.
I said, you know what? You make me laugh, but you should be intellectually honest and admit that we don't have freedom. Because if you had freedom, you could do whatever you want.
Uh-huh.
And I said, moms wouldn't be arrested for bringing kids to the park.
Uh-huh.
And I said, it's not about philosophy. It's about facts, right? And so he goes, I'll let you know how free I am when I become a millionaire. $1 billion is the goal, the final goal. And I go, well, that's called free dumb, D-U-M-B. Money can't get you freedom.
Uh-huh.
So then he goes on this tirade telling me how it's possible to not know you're incorrect. That sentence made no sense to me.
It is possible to not know that you're incorrect. He's doing it right now.
And that's the problem for you right now. I don't care what you believe you know. I don't have time for this conversation either. And so I just basically pointed out that, I've given him a lot of factual information and he's never responded to any of it. I said, this is not about me being right and you being wrong. This is about me trying to engage in a conversation and you playing it off like it doesn't exist.
Right.
That's what it's about. And so I told him, I go, Elon Musk's a billionaire, and guess what? He's on lockdown, just like us. Bill Gates, billionaire. He's on lockdown. Warren Buffett, billionaire. He's on lockdown. So I said, you can ignore that all you want, but it doesn't change the fact that it's true. And I said, instead of getting offended and stomping your feet,
like a toddler, be
open-minded. Your problem is you think you know everything, so you don't listen when people say something you disagree with. I admit I played the age card on him. I told him I'm more than twice his age, and I've literally seen everything. I said, but think about it. When it's required that you pay taxes or go to jail, is that really freedom? When the government can lock up moms for taking children to a park, is that freedom? So I said, you're not only being stubborn, but you're also being rude. So I will go ahead and cease the conversation. Good luck to you. One day you will think back on this conversation and realize how wrong you were. But the saddest part of all, is it possible to know you're incorrect? Not know you're incorrect? Well, a true statement, it doesn't apply to me. Every comment we got on your last appearance was he on hardcore drugs? ? Why?
Yeah.
Because everyone listening recognized a simple fact. You presented nothing to support your contentions, while I presented facts to refute your contentions. And I said, bye. Okay? And then he's like, I don't have to defend myself because I'm not the one who instigated such an arbitrary argument to make my ego feel better. And he's like,
Wow.
Somehow I think I know everything. Great logic. And so then I just basically let him have it, and I reiterated the same points. And I said, I proved these things to you, but you don't even bother to answer them. I said, so instead of giving a valid argument, you claim you don't have to defend yourself. Well, that's what's shocking, is that I haven't attacked you. I attacked the notion that we are somehow free. And then I just basically wanted to tell him that, he has a closed mind. And
which is true.
I told him that he's one of the most clueless people I've ever conversed with.
Also true.
And then that's when he says, well, I can be mean if you'd like. And he was like, your content is terrible. And I'm like, oh yeah, says the guy who begs to be on the show all the time. Who up until a little while ago had it posted in his bio that he was a regular on the show.
Yeah.
That guy.
But it's okay.
So.
It's okay.
He keeps saying, he finally says, it's not a claim that we're a free country. It's a fact. I'm sorry your small mind doesn't comprehend truth. I said, well, that's interesting, because does that mean that if I say I can bench 2,000 pounds, when someone says prove it, I can just say I don't need to defend myself? Is that how that works?
Yep.
I go, no. Actually, when you make a claim, you have to back it up, right? Wouldn't you agree with that?
Well, of course.
So do some research maybe, right?
Well, his problem is that he's picked a source for his finger quotes fact and just vomits what it says.
Yep. And, he had called me an immature moron. So I told him that if I'm an immature moron, he's an infantile, brain dead idiot. And I feel like he needed to be roasted like that. I'm tired of being the nice guy and giving him chance after chance. After his first appearance, I'm going to admit this in front of everybody. After his first appearance, you said he shouldn't come back again.
I didn't want him to. He was rude.
And
he said things to me that I didn't appreciate.
But I saw potential.
Because he doesn't know how to interact with people.
But I saw potential. And I was going to try to mold that potential.
Well, you failed.
And it worked on his second appearance. That was his best appearance. Was his second appearance. Then after that, he went back to not listening to anybody and doing it his own way. And he just progressively got worse. And I think that the last appearance was his way to stir up things and cause a feud. But see, we have the upper hand in that either way you look at it. So
yeah,
you'll notice we're not mentioning a name. We're not going to mention a name. And
you know who it is, you know who it is.
But here's the thing. Either you know who it is or you don't. We don't really care. You'll be able to tell by the continued presence of certain people on our show exactly who we're talking about. But we are not telling you who.
Our other regular guest needs to come back for a visit.
Yes. See how he's doing with the end of school year. Now that it's winding down and everybody's had to do this remote schooling thing.
Yeah. But speaking of jackasses, I have an update.
Hold on. I want to introduce this, though. So this lady over here has been unfortunately stressing out dealing with a situation with 4 or 5 jackass teenagers. 5 jackass teenagers who rented a place and, left it in less than stellar condition. Let her tell the story.
Well, if you go back a few episodes, I kind of went on and on about the disgustingness of this place. But to reiterate, they left body fluids and drug residue all over every surface in the house. And then they proceeded to burn them with their cigarettes. That's to make a $6,000 story short.
Okay. So tell them about him bombarding you with requests for the deposit back.
So we knew the place would be in rough-ish shape. So when we asked them to leave, I had told them that I would let them know if they were getting anything back by Friday. But because the condition they left it in was so much worse than anyone could have ever expected, we needed an extra week. I told them this. I said, I will let you know sometime next week. communicating. You know how it works.
Amazing.
I didn't hear from him at all. At all. And then we're at the beach with the dogs. Yay beach, yay dogs. At the beach with the dogs. And when I get in the car, I have 2 missed calls and an angry text message that's mildly threatening.
Yep.
From this dude saying he wants his deposit back and he's offended. Well, go back a couple episodes and have yourself a listen to what he did, and you tell me if you think he should get his deposit back.
Well, and that's in that very episode you speak of, and I will try to find that episode and put the number in the notes, but I'll put a link to it.
It might even just be the last episode.
It could be. But to my way of thinking, I asked, do you think he's stupid or he thinks you're stupid? And you said both.
I think at this point, it's still both.
And I don't think so anymore.
Though I don't think he thinks I'm as stupid as he used to.
I could be convinced of it earlier, but I think what it is he's not really stupid. He's willfully ignorant.
He said, my mom's a lawyer, and she says what you're doing isn't right. And I'm sorry, but I have his mother's information. She's not a lawyer. She's not anywhere near being a lawyer. She doesn't work in the legal profession.
Well, let's be real.
She's just a dirty liar.
Let's be real. You poked the bear a little bit by saying, great, have your mom give me a call. If that was really a lawyer, that's the kind of thing that their personality can't handle, and they'd have been on the phone with you like immediately.
Exactly. I've known enough lawyers in my life. I wanted the angriest woman to yell in my ear. And I'd been like, could I have your email address? I have some pictures I'd like to send you. That's how I would have handled that.
Well, exactly. You tell the truth.
Exactly. And then he would have gotten his ass entirely tanned. But unfortunately for him, fortunately for him, and unfortunately for my love of harassing people with those kind of things, she isn't a lawyer. So I sent them the invoice for what they owe and an email demanding payment. And suddenly, he's not so interested in communicating with me anymore.
And he wouldn't leave her alone before.
Yeah. I told the owner today, I was like, I sent them the invoice yesterday because they were super rude to me. And he just like giggles under his breath. And I said, I was very nice to them, but I don't think that they thought the invoice I sent them was very nice. And then I told him that I'm going to send them a couple of invoice reminders and then just delete the invoice because it's not worth pursuing. And that's what he wants to do. He's like, well, at least they're going to leave you alone now.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to bother you ever again.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can say this because by this time, enough time will be out. I feel like the longer it takes them to say something, the more guilty they look.
Oh, yeah.
Because, we've Airbnb'd every time we've traveled in the U.S. We've Airbnb'd.
Except once.
Except for
my brother's wedding. Oh, and the first soccer trip to Vegas.
Yeah, twice. So, for the most part, we Airbnb.
Last 3 years, anyway.
If we ever had someone say, send us a bill for damages, I'd be instantly like, what the hell? Like, you must have let somebody in there for free to party and then try to charge me for the damage because, no.
You know what Airbnb does? You have to... Okay, so if your tenant damages your stuff, you have to have the report in with all pictures before another Airbnb tenant checks in.
Yeah, it makes sense. But I'm saying it's theirs. They could just give it to their friend. Their friend has a party, destroys the place. Then they blame you and try to collect it from you because no guests have been there.
Yeah.
And I would be instantly on that. Like, instantly. You wouldn't be waiting days and ignoring text messages. You'd be like, yo, you're crazy. I didn't do any damage. I don't owe you anything.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The silence is them agreeing that they screwed up, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But
I feel like if he's rude to me again, I will get in touch with his mommy with the pictures.
Yeah, why not?
I do have her contact information.
I think one of the problems we have in society today is that kind of thing where I don't know why, because I'm not going to say that a certain generation is bad or a certain generation didn't teach another generation the right way. I'm not going to say that because I don't agree with those kind of statements. But I do feel like there's been some parents who tried to be like best friends with their kids. That was a trend for a while.
Yeah.
And I think it created these kind of entitled assholes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just glad it's over.
Well, yeah, I don't think you'll ever hear from them again, ever.
I hope not.
But
I am going to bother them a little.
Well, you're right. They owe you money now. So
exactly.
Like,
I think as long as I don't spend a drastic amount of time on it, Ben doesn't care how much I bother them.
But this reminds me of some of the stuff that I put in my vlog, like about school and grocery shopping and my feelings about some of the rules. And like this week, it's going to be about crazy people on social media with examples. So that's how I feel about that situation.
Fair. Yep. All wrapped up.
So I don't know.
2 jackasses, all wrapped up.
Yeah. That's interesting. Same age people.
Close enough, yeah.
And it's true. Like when people talk about, oh, it's a whole generation. Sometimes it's like a 3-year span in there where there was a phase that people were going through of being best buddies with their kids, and it's not a whole generation. It's just a little piece.
I'm 10 years older than these people. And people, when I was 18, would have acted just the same way.
Interesting.
And I'm going to guess that...
Maybe I'm too old to remember what it was like to be 18 years old. And that's a serious...
It's totally possible.
That's a serious comment because I trust what you're saying, but then that kind of falls into the hands of it's the generation kind of people too. But
it doesn't, because I think it's every generation. When they're of a certain age, act a certain kind of shitty way. And I didn't act that way because my mother is a terrorist. In the nicest way possible, mother, you're a terrorist.
Well, like me, the worst thing that I didn't steal. I didn't, graffiti things. I didn't damage other people's property. The worst thing I did was smoke pot. That was it. That's the worst thing I did. And
I didn't even do that.
And it was for the same reason. Like, I was able to get away with that because my mom was very naive about that. Like, she found a pipe with like a metal bowl and a wood handle in my jacket. And she told me, oh, your candle snuffer's in the kitchen. I took your jacket in to be cleaned. She thought it was a candle snuffer. Who has a candle snuffer? Sure, I just carry a candle snuffer around with me. What the hell? What candles am I putting out?
Yeah.
Like, that was bizarre. But, I could get away with that. But at the same time, like, she was tough about certain issues, and you towed the line. So.
Well, and people say that it happens when it's a single parent household, or they say it happens when both parents are working. And no, there's 100 million things that happen that cause people to act like assholes, or there's nothing that happens to cause
it's a
people to act
potpourri
like
of issues,
assholes.
though. It's a potpourri of issues.
Right.
It's just a whole bunch of things just jumbled together.
Right.
And there's no true formula to it. It's like when you find like potpourri's a good one to use because when you find somebody who's good at making that stuff, they don't say, all right, Mike, put in half a cup of the purple ones, put in 3/4 of a cup of the green ones, then get 1/4 of a cup of the white ones, and then a half a cup of the blue ones. Mix that in. They don't do that. They just go, here, you put about this much of this in here, this much of this in here. Smell it a little bit. Oh, does it smell sweet or sour? Oh, it smells sour. Here, add a little more of this.
For the education and making
That's
potpourri.
it. Yeah, it's funny. Thanks for being rude and cutting off what I was saying. But they teach you how to do it by feel. And that's why some people are really good at it and some people suck at it.
Yep.
Same thing with cooking. There's stuff like that. There's like,
Well, there are people who have to. Cooking is a good example too. There are people who have to use a recipe for everything, and there's people who never use recipes except for the first time they try to make something.
And then there's some people who use recipes all the time.
Well, that was the first example I gave. Some people who need a recipe for everything.
Some people who never need a recipe,
except for maybe the first time they make.
And
something.
then some people don't use a recipe at all. They do it by taste.
Yeah.
I think people who can take and reverse engineer stuff like that, though, freaking brilliant people. Like they go to, I don't know, El Torito and they get the salsa, and then they're at home and somehow they taste it. Oh, it tastes like this. Somehow they manage to make the salsa taste exactly like the El Torito salsa, as an example.
Usually comes from somebody who worked there, but yeah. Oh,
I didn't think of... Wow, I'm stupid. How did I not think about the fact that an ex-employee would have been like, well, they taught me the formula. Here, let me show you the formula.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm dumb.
Oh my God, it's starting to be hot in California again.
Yes, it is. Anyway, I'm tired.
I agree. I guess everybody else should be tired too. Good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye. You know who. Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.